Hello there, boxing fans around the world. Thanks for joining me here on Talkin Fight for another episode of Boxing News Today. As we all know, we've got a big clash coming up with Jermell Charlo and his good buddy Canelo Alvarez. They're going to go toe-to-toe in Las Vegas, and the pundits are quite divided on who's got the better chance here. But it's a good one because both fighters have a lot to lose, quite frankly. Charlo is pride, and Canelo maybe his career. So let's have a quick look and see what the know-it-alls have to say. All right, let's start off with what Teddy Atlas has to say. First of all, as we all know, Alvarez is widely regarded as one of the best fighters of this generation, without a doubt. He's won his fair share of fights. He's also, four-weight world champion, undisputed in the super middleweight ranks, and he's returning in the weekend to defend against four-belt super welterweight champ Jermell Charlo. Okay. So, Teddy Atlas had this to say. Canelo has always been overrated. Now, that doesn't mean he's not a real good fighter, but he is not the greatest Mexican fighter of all time. He is not the greatest Mexican fighter. He's overrated. He probably lost to Erislandy Lara. He lost twice to Triple G. I know it's old news. It's old history. He lost the first two against Golovkin, especially the first one. He lost to Mayweather every round, except for with that judge who should be in jail. Keep in mind, Atlas had previously said that he's not even in the top 10 of greatest Mexican fighters of all time. Atlas has followed that opinion up with some others in the similar vein in recent times, even his prediction for this fight with Charlo. Even though he's backing the Mexican to win via split decision, even if he needs help from his friends in the industry. About the criticism, Canelo claimed the trainer turned analyst crazy. Okay, woo. He's fucking crazy, that fucking crazy. And you think he knows boxing? All right. Anyway, his record is 59, 2-2, and he has promised to silence any critics who believe he's on the slide, following a loss to Dimitri Bivol and 2 decision wins over Triple G and John Ryder. So speaking on this matter, he said he wasn't fully fighting fit for the bouts due to hand surgery, and that the Charlo main event will be on a different level altogether. All right, let's have a quick look here and see what our lads over at ESPN has to say. Just courtesy of, let's see who wrote this one up here. Damian Delgado Alvarez had this to say on ESPN. Jermell Charlo will not be the first nor the last boxer in modern boxing history to move up 2 divisions to confront an established champion. Most recently, there were 2 stars who did the same, Manny Pacquiao and Guillermo Rigondeaux. The 2 fought against great opponents with different outcomes. Pacquiao forced Oscar De La Hoya to quit before the 9th round. Rigondeaux lost a one-sided bout against Lomachenko when Rigondeaux quit in his corner after the 6th round. Charlo, keep in mind, he's 35, 1-1, 19 knockouts, arrives for the super middleweight fight against Canelo Alvarez at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas as the junior middleweight undisputed champ. He took the place of his twin brother Jermell, who initially was going to move up from middleweight to face Alvarez, but withdrew as he continued to deal with some personal issues. Said Charlo, now is the right time for this fight. We're in our primes and at our best. I want to shake the doubters off. I will prove to the world why I'm in this position. There's a reason I made it this far. I'm going to show what I'm made of. Everything I've done since I'm 8 years old, I'm putting it all on the line now. As of Tuesday, Alvarez was at 4-2. Wow, a favorite according to Caesars Sportsbook. Still, there's a history of fighters who managed to beat the odds and beat higher division champions. Alvarez himself is the closest reference of a boxer going up 2 divisions and winning. He did it against Sergey Kovalev in November 2019. Alvarez, who 6 months before had beaten Daniel Jacobs to unify 3 middleweight world titles, jumped from 160 pounds to 175 to snatch the WBO light heavyweight title from Kovalev. Pacquiao did something similar in December 2008 with his debut in the welterweight division against De La Hoya, although the fight was at catchweight of 145. Pacquiao's previous height had been at lightweight, 135 pounds, when he knocked out David Diaz to win the WBC belt. Let's have a quick look and see what other fellows have to say about this. This is a good one I found, titled Investigating a Long History of Canelo Alvarez Getting Favoritism from Las Vegas Judges. And this is courtesy of Andreas Hale, writing for the Sporting News. He goes, the idea of Jermell Charlo moving up 2 weight classes to challenge Canelo Alvarez for the undisputed super middleweight championship is already considered a gargantuan task for the undisputed champion at 154 to overcome. However, the act of beating Canelo on the scorecards in Las Vegas is perhaps an even bigger mountain to climb. As history tells us, convincing the judges that you've won more rounds than Canelo in a boxing match is almost impossible. People have said that Jermell Charlo must knock Canelo out in order to leave Las Vegas with the undisputed super middleweight championship. Is that true? Considering how Las Vegas has found ways to give Canelo rounds in fights that it doesn't feel like he deserves, Charlo will have to do everything in his power to keep the fight from going to the scorecards. Canelo's history of favorable scorecards starts in 2013 with his unanimous decision victory over Austin Trout, the first major boxing event that Canelo headlined. Although it wasn't Vegas, the seed was planted that there would always be at least one scorecard that heavily skewed toward Canelo. In most observers' eyes, Canelo bested Trout by roughly 2 to 3 rounds. However, an obscene 18 to 1 118 to 109 scorecard raised more than a few eyebrows. Although the right man won, the score was cause for alarm. That carried over into Canelo's showdown with Floyd Mayweather in Las Vegas. On that particular card, Canelo was the biggest stage he's ever been on, and he was grossly outclassed by Mayweather in a fight that wasn't even close. According to CompuBox, Mayweather outlanded Canelo 232 to 117 and connected on 46% of his punches to Canelo's 22%. Most ringside observers struggled to find 3 rounds to give Canelo, yet Judge C.J. Ross managed to score the fight even at 114-114. This scorecard was so egregious that she stepped down from judging after drawing significant criticism for her card. Interestingly enough, that terrible scorecard overshadowed an also inept 116-112 scorecard by Judge Dave Moretti. Out of 86 media scorecards, nobody had it closer than 116-113 with an average score of 119-109 in favor of Mayweather. This trend of favorable scorecards for Canelo was only getting started. Canelo versus Lara, as I mentioned earlier. Less than a year later, Canelo was back in action against Erislandy Lara following a stoppage of Alfredo Aguinho. The crafty Cuban gave Canelo all he could handle in a nip-and-tuck affair, which saw Canelo win a split decision that could have gone either way. One judge had it 115-113, Canelo, while another saw it favor of Lara by the same margin. But the final score for Canelo was an impossibly wide tally of 117-111. And this was the third consecutive decision for Canelo that had at least one questionable scorecard for the Mexican star. Then we enter that famous fight, Miguel Cotto versus Canelo, as in 2015, held at the Mandalay Bay Event Center in Las Vegas. Following his brutal third-round knockout of James Kirkland in Texas, Canelo returned to Vegas to face Miguel Cotto. In what appeared to be a closely contested fight that Canelo deserved to edge out, the judges would have you think that it was a utterly one-sided affair, posting scores of 119-109, 118-110, and 117-111. The right man won, but few had that much of disparity between the two fighters. Wow. Canelo Alvarez's Triple G won, held at T-Mobile Arena, 2017. Canelo knocked out Amir Khan and Liam Smith in his next 2 fights before dominating an absolutely listless Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. for one of the few Vegas scorecards without controversy, and then stepped into the ring 2017 against Gennady Golovkin for a highly anticipated middleweight championship showdown. And it happened yet again. A fight that many onlookers scored for Golovkin ended in a split draw that kept Canelo from adding another loss to his career. According to MMA decisions, out of 26 media scorecards, 22 scored it for Golovkin, with most having 116-112, and the only 3 observers ended up with a draw. Only one scorecard had it for Canelo with a 115-113 score. As for the actual judges, that's a different story. One judge had it 115-113 for Golovkin, while another had it a draw. That third judge, Adelaide Bird, somehow scored the fight 118-110 for Canelo, giving Triple G only 2 rounds out of a possible 12. Wow. Man. The rematch took place a year later, and the media scores were a lot closer than the previous fight, with 10 ruling in favor of Triple G, 7 seeing it as a draw, and only 1 judge scoring for Canelo. The actual scorecards had a majority decision for Canelo, with 2 judges scoring 115-113 for Canelo, and the third having it as a draw. Golovkin insists he was robbed not once, twice. And it didn't stop there. Hey, listen, I'll put this link down in the description below. Let's move along. Over on boxingnews24.com, my good friend Brian Weber writes, Jermell Charlo says he's definitely going to be returning to 154 for a possible fight against Terence Crawford after he first deals with Canelo Alvarez on Saturday. Jermell wants to scoop up Canelo's 4 belts to become undisputed super middleweight, but he says he isn't staying at 168. That makes a lot of sense because if Jermell stays, he'll need to defend against David Morrell Jr. and David Benavidez, and that's obviously a bridge too far for Charlo. He's not crazy. The game plan that Jermell leaked on Wednesday involving using movement to defeat Canelo would be totally ineffective against Benavidez and Morrell. So Jermell is going to catch and release with the 4 168-pound titles and then head to safe waters at 154 for a lucrative fight with Crawford and likely the winner of the Tim Tszyu Brian Mendoza fight. Let's move along to Shakur Stevenson. The never-ending saga of poor old Shakur Stevenson, 20-0, 10 knockouts, as we know. He will attempt to become a 3-weight world champion after securing a shot at Devin Haney's old title belt. Stevenson takes on Dominican Edwin De Los Santos for the vacant WBC lightweight world title Thursday, November 16th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. The Olympian and former 2-division king will aim to make history in a doubleheader alongside a top co-feature, Mexico's Emmanuel Valcara Navarrete defends his WBO super featherweight strap against Brazilian 2-time world challenger Robson Conceição. Top-ranked chairman Bob Arum is delighted to have secured a date around the Formula One race weekend. This is a huge week for Las Vegas, a tremendous platform for Shakur Stevenson. Once again, why he's well on his way to reigning as the sport's pound-for-pound king, said Arum. Many fighters turned down the opportunity, but Edwin De Los Santos eagerly accepted. Navarrete and Conceição fighting for supremacy at 130 adds to a spectacular card that is loaded from top to bottom. Woo! All right, let's have a quick look here, see who else is coming up. Former world champion Miguel Berchelt, 38-3, out of Yucatan, will make a redemptive return to the ring as the main event of Golden Boy Fight Night on DAZN Mexico edition. In a lightweight match against former world champion of Tucumán, Argentina, Diego El Profito Ruiz, 24-7-1, by the way, 12 knockouts. The 10-round lightweight fight is presented in co-promotion with Zanfer Boxing on Saturday, October 14th at the Poliforum Zamna in Mérida. That's in the Yucatan Peninsula. In the co-main event, Mexico City's undefeated Angel Ayala, 16-0, wow, will have his clean record tested by former world champion of Managua, Felix El Gemelo Alvarado, 39-3, 34 knockouts in an IBF eliminator fight scheduled for 10 rounds as well. Good stuff. Let's move along to Bomba. A new change in opponent now has WBO junior flyweight titleist Jonathan Bomba Gonzalez fighting out of Puerto Rico, making his third defense against Nicaraguan-ranked contender WBO number 14, Gerardo Zapata, 14-1-1. On Friday, that'll take place October 27th from the Alexis Arguello Sports Complex in Managua, and that's in Nicaragua. Tuto Zabala, Jr., president of the ASB, says Zapata has stepped in for Layman Benavidez as he felt ill, and after a few days, he was not able to fight Gonzalez. He was fighting a rematch on the co-main event and has been training. We expect a tough fight. Jonathan Bomba Gonzalez is no stranger to adversity and has faced a similar style in the past, making his first defense and outpointing former Filipino Olympian Mark Anthony Barriga. My team and I have seen the tape on him, Zapata, and we are ready and eager to get back in the ring, noted Gonzalez. We saw Zapata as a southpaw, but he brings nothing new to the table. Destiny has placed me here, said Zapata. I won my last fight. Villar got a hometown decision, which cost me the fight with Gonzalez, but here we are, and I will not disappoint my peeps. All right. Let's move along to, quick little addition here to the today's stories. Unbeaten British heavyweight standouts. Let's put that in air quotes. Fabio Wardley and David Adea will meet in high-stakes clash Saturday, October 28th in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. The 12-round battle of emerging it goes from heavyweight standouts to emerging stars. The 12-round battle of emerging stars will serve as a chief support contest to the historic showdown between WBC and lineal heavyweight boxing champ Tyson Fury and lineal MMA heavyweight champ Francis Ngannou. The premier combat sports event of the year, which marks the opening of Riyadh season, the world's biggest entertainment event, features a night of action delivered by boxing's marquee division, the two heavyweights going at it. Former WBO world champion Joseph Parker, 32-3, 222 knockouts from New Zealand, goes up against Canada's Simon Keane, 23-1, 22 knockouts, by the way. And bone-crushing puncher Arslanbek Makhmudov, 17-0, also residing in Canada, defends his NABF title against Croatian veteran Agron Smakici, 19-2. And both fights are scheduled for 10 rounds, by the way. And in a special 6-round special attraction, 18-year-old heavyweight phenom Moses Atwama, 5-0, will face an opponent to be named. This unprecedented heavyweight spectacular is promoted by Queensbury, Top Rank, and GIMIK Fight Promotions, along with Eye of the Tiger out of Montreal, promoter Keane and Makhmudov. The Fury Ngannou fight and the heavyweight undercard will be available on TNT Sports box office in the UK for all you UK fans. Ipswich Wardley, he's 16-0, by the way, 15 knockouts, became English champ in 2021 with a first-round stoppage of Nick Webb before capturing British honours with a third-round TKO of Nathan Gorman last November. He's coming off a fourth-round TKO over Michael Coffey in April. Adelaide, by the way, he's 12-0, 11 knockouts from London, is the current WBO European champion, having won his maiden professional title by defeating the previously unbeaten Dimitrios Bezos at York Hall in February and subsequently stopping Emir Amatovic in June. As this article says, the Adelaide-Wardley rivalry hits new heights at the Fury-Ngannou press conference in London earlier this month as the fighters and their camps brawled on the red carpet. The melee left Wardley with cuts above his left eye and under his chin. Oh, poor guy. All right, let's wrap up today's episode with a quick little update on Gervonta Davis. The title screams, Gervonta Davis puts boxing career on hold following jail time. It's written by my good friend Phil J. over at bourboxingnews.net. Go check it out. Gervonta Davis will not be returning to the ring before the end of the year following a brief spell in prison following his last bout. This means that Ryan Garcia pay-per-view victory, which was a rating smash, could represent Tank's only fight of 2023. Davis could make a comeback in December. However, nothing in the pipeline is far more likely to be early 2024. The lightweight star defeated Garcia via technical knockout, but has seen two of his major rivals since agreed to face each other at super lightweight. Devin Haney and Regis Progress trade blows on December 9th with the WBC championship at 140 pounds on the line. The pair agreed to a deal despite both showing interest in a battle with Davis. But due to the time delay, any hope of Davis facing either would be on hold until at least April next year. It also sees Davis only fight 3 times in 2 years at the height of his powers. Too bad. The jail time didn't help Davis, says this article. However, he had to take some punishment for what was a serious vehicle accident that hurt other members of the public. True enough. Despite initially having a 5-year sentence hanging over him, Davis served less than 2 months behind bars. For now, Davis will focus on his family life, put his boxing career on the shelf, and may well take a huge offer for Davis to return at any earlier than next spring. He said, I'm getting my personal life together. I'll see you all at the top of the year. At 29-0 with 27 knockouts to his credit, Davis can sit back safe in the knowledge that he remains one of boxing's biggest stars, and when he does return, interest in his next outing will spike once again. Fights against Teofimo Lopez, Vasily Lomachenko, Josh Taylor, Shakur Stevenson would all have boxing fans salivating at that prospect. Right on. Okay, all right. Thank you very much, boxing fans, for joining me. Appreciate it. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We'll see you later on at 4 p.m. when I join Mike Gore for a show Knuckle Up. That's 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And then we have a special edition of the Friday Night Panel. We'll be on location at Budo Boxing Club for a fight Ireland versus Canada. Spirit of the Warrior. All right. Thank you very much.